Update: Am I the butthole for not sharing my medical history before being pranked? Link to original post. Heyo. I had a few folks message me over the last couple of months, the latest tonight. It touches me that so many of you still message me to see if things are going well, so I wanted to update people en masse. Life is going phenomenally. I axed the friend group, and have since been kicking butt. I realized that if my close friend group was consistently putting me down or taking advantage of me, who else could be? The biggest answer was myself. I stopped doing things I enjoyed to invest in people that took joy in hurting me. Turns out it went so much deeper than gaslighting. I got 2 new hobbies, woodworking and brewing. I absolutely love them both, and have made friends in those communities. I started cooking instead of takeout, and I met the woman who is now my girlfriend at the local market, and we do most things together now. I realized my job had been taking a huge advantage over me. I worked significantly harder and longer hours for less pay than the employees under me. After I transitioned to taking better care of myself, I successfully created a resume that outlined my successes, recognizing those successes took quite a bit of effort, and got a new job in higher management for significantly more pay. I'm also going to buy a house this December with a yard for my dog and I. Nothing big, just a nice 1-bedroom with a large yard for my buddy and I to play fetch in. So thanks Reddit. Oh, you won. Never would have made life improvement if it weren't for an external force. Web link. Wow. I absolutely remember your original post as someone else who struggles with mental illnesses. They were so completely out of line, but never forget who got you out of that dangerous situation, you. You have been working on living a stable life long enough to know that something was off and your health was number one. Keep realizing your worth and living a kick-ass life. Absolutely this. Original post should take full credit for the steps he's taken, and I fully respect him for taking those steps, as they must have been difficult and it would definitely have taken a lot of courage on his part. Leaving a friend group, no matter how toxic they may be, is always a hard thing to do, and I respect him even more for having the courage to do this. I'm really glad that he's found and pursued new interests and hobbies. Original post is fantastic. Seriously, so happy for Op. It takes a lot of strength to overcome this kind of adversity, and it's awesome he did. Yep, just want to chime in and say how proud I am of Original Post as well. I remember his first post so well, and I'm blown away by how amazing he has been with his awareness of the whole thing and actively working so hard to better himself. I wish you many happy years to come. Keep going and you'll smash it. Wholesome update indeed. Schizophrenia is no joke, and it's good to see that Original Post is taking care of himself. My mom's favorite prank she ever pulled was convincing my 12-year-old sister that she was dying of cancer. And this was shortly after our grandmother, who my sister was super wicked close to, died of cancer. My mom's a pretty crappy person. Your mom is absolutely evil. What the F? Oh yeah, she's done far worse than that too. Boy, the stories I could tell. Geez, why do some people suck so much? I am so turned off by mean-spirited humor. I feel like people having that sort of a sense of humor is some sort of side effect of crap they were subjected to in their life, because I don't want to accept that people are cruel like that all on their own, even with a decent upbringing. I will absolutely judge people based on their sense of humor, because I think what a person finds funny says a lot about them and their character. It's probably some kind of psychopathy and or the urge to exert power over someone. There's a distinct lack of empathy in that example, coupled with what seems like a need to exert authority on a child who is growing beyond her power. Christ. I hope you are doing well in spite of your mom doing so much messed up stuff. We're doing better now. I said in another comment that she's not living with us and she and my dad are getting divorced because of extra scummy behavior on her part. Far worse than that. I simply cannot imagine what that could possibly entail. I am so very sorry for what y'all had to endure and hope you are in a healthy place now. Our situation is a bit complicated right now, but definitely better. She's not with my dad anymore or living here because of scummy behavior on her part. Big surprise, I know. Your mom sounds like a sociopath. I know what kind of parents do that to their kids or / raised by narcissists. Reddit link. Yeah, I used to frequent that subreddit. It made me way too depressed to know there were so many parents out there like mine. I'm sorry it made you feel that way. Had I known, I would not suggest it. Some people find it reassuring to see that they are riding the same boat. Even more so when they manage to get out of said boat and finally reach a better shore. Sending virtual hugs. No, don't even worry about it. I really appreciate the suggestion, and I know there was nothing but good intent behind it. Thank you very much. I didn't read the original when it was posted, but I am so glad that you're doing so well now. Congrats. This is honestly one of the best updates I've seen, and I'm really glad things turned out so well for Op. Original post also has so much courage for exiting that toxic friend group and for coming so far and finding and pursuing new hobbies and interests. I'm so happy for him and wish him the best for the future. I love it too. I think hobbies and interests are needed for a person to keep them away from harmful things, such as toxic relations, bad habits, or any other negativity in one's life. Gold medal. Yeah, when I was first reading it, I was on the nah fence, but once he clarified the prank went on for 3 weeks, I was like, yeah, that's effed up. I could see it most a few hours or a day, just to mess with someone, but end it and tell them if you see them actually starting to stress or react negatively. I don't have ever done anything joke wish for 3 weeks, let alone gaslighting. F all of the people who said nah on the previous post. I think I ended up arguing with a few of them. They just had no empathy. This just might be my favorite update ever. You completely altered the trajectory of your life for the better. Way better. Good for you. I wish you nothing but joy in the new life you have created for yourself. I think sometimes we all get stuck in a rut. Some of us flee from change, some grin and bear it. The best of us self-reflect during times of trouble, take the bull by the horns, and make changes to ourselves. Never easy, but always worth it. For the record, I'm a grin and bear it girl. I can self-reflect and know what bad habits I need to change, but don't have the confidence to do it. Maybe this is the kick in the butt I need to take control of my own destiny. Thank you for sharing and keep kicking ass. I relate to you so much. If original post can do it, so can we. It's the confidence to change that I struggle with the most. Do you have any tips? Never let the sun set on a problem without a solution, or at least the steps to solve the problem. Identifying the problem is the biggest challenge. With me, it took the power of Reddit for me to identify problems in my life. Never be afraid to ask for help with a problem. I think in my life I have had one person that said no when I asked for help. It's so true. When I think about times people have come to me for help, I'm always happy to help. It makes me feel important that they trust me with their problems, and it genuinely increases my confidence. I don't judge them for their issue or for asking for help. Why do we think it'll be a disaster if we go to them? It's crazy ridiculous when you think about it. It's great to hear that you're much happier, found cool hobbies, and made new friends. You've come a long way. Kudos to you for getting out of your toxic friend group. I'm happy for your self-improvement journey. Keep up the progress. Op has a lot of courage too, exiting a toxic friend group and coming so far and discovering and pursuing new hobbies and interests. I'm extremely glad for him and I wish him the best. Almost every group has someone that gets picked on or is pranked. But the fact that they went on for such a long time with this prank brings it to the level of sustained abuse. Even if you weren't having medical issues, it was an awful thing to do to anyone. Brewing, by the way, is a great hobby. You can be creative with your recipes. Blueberry beer? Also, they would individually wear something silly like a wizard hat or dinosaur costume, Trek's blow-up costume, to a group event, or say something totally out of the ordinary and pretend like it was normal. Police like to track people like you. COVID is just a way to microchip you, etc. If you said these sorts of things to a neurotypical person, it wouldn't really be a prank, because they'd just look at you like you were crazy. This leads us to the conclusion that Op's friends likely knew at least something about their condition. Maybe they didn't realize it was actual schizophrenia, or maybe they did. Either way, they picked Op's mental condition as a target for their pranks. I'm one of those people who doesn't feel empathy or compassion as naturally occurring emotions, and even I have to say that these friends are completely and utterly effed. This is actually terrifying to someone who might have trouble telling reality and non-reality apart. I have sometimes periods when I don't feel real. It's very mild though. I can only imagine what it would feel like if it was worse. Funnily enough, I can't go down the rabbit hole that is YouTube anymore, just on the off chance some of the ideas stick with me. I would suggest the SciShow network of channels if you want some interesting videos while knowing their real information and not potentially steering you into a conspiracy. They always have a stack of scientific citations at the bottom of their videos, too. SciShow, SciShow Psych, SciShow Space. It's great you've realized that about YouTube. Honestly, it could happen to almost anyone on YouTube because of their effed up algorithm. They will continue showing you similar content to what you watched last, so eventually you only see the videos with ideas that may not be based in reality. It is hard for anyone, much less someone with your condition, to understand that even though they are seeing confirmation of a view that's not based in reality everywhere and nothing else, it isn't actually the truth. It's hard for our brains to realize that because we've evolved to find patterns. Every single video leads to more of the same, and eventually your page is so personalized that you literally will never find evidence to the contrary. The algorithm has led people to become radicalized by the alt-right, toxic forms of Islam, conspiracies, etc. because they were curious about a subject, then were relentlessly fed similar content while blocking out other views. It's affected our culture in a really negative way. YouTube was eventually sued. At least reported so much that they now censor content instead of changing the algorithm. QI roll, the algorithm makes them too much money to change it. Ironically, that backfired because groups like the alt-right and anti-vax then claimed that the truth is being censored by the government when it was simply a liability concern. It's a mess. I've also stepped away from YouTube. I feel you on that. Edit, also your update made me cry. I also struggle with mental illness and I'm just so happy for your happiness. I wish you continued wellness. I was afraid they slipped this person acid or something, and honestly this is almost as bad. Like holy F, it's so cruel. The lack of empathy is astonishing. I was a bit surprised when she said she wouldn't tell friends about her schizophrenia. Then we learned about how her friends treat her. I think her feelings were right to keep her distance from them. Don't get me wrong, there's very few people I would consider that close. I'm partial to a nice elderflower mead myself. My half-sister is paranoid schizophrenic. When she was 16-ish, she was convinced by my Pentecostal grandmother to get off drugs, prescription medications, and move away and work Teen Challenge. About 10 years later she came back into our lives. Almost like a mildly rabid animal. She had been through a lot due to being unmedicated for that decade, not the least of which was brain damage from a television being thrown successfully at her head while she was being robbed. She now resides in a nursing home. Due to the above, I have no idea what a functional schizophrenic is like. Original post, or anyone else, would you care to elaborate, even mildly? Absolutely. 100%, going to have triggers for anyone that is sensitive. So I'm going to be totally transparent. At first it totally destroyed my life. I was 22 when I was first diagnosed while I was in the Army. At the time, I had just made sergeant and completed an Army field trip. I was doing great things, my troops were killing it, and then I started hearing voices. At first I just tried to drown out the voices with alcohol, then it got to harder stuff like cocaine, Molly, and other 3-day drugs. I wasn't really depressed per se. I loved life. But one day I just had enough. I had a fantastic plan. I was going to empty my bank accounts, donation to the Alaskan Zoo near where I was stationed and a couple of other places, eat lunch at my favorite ramen place, walk around downtown, eat at my favorite restaurant, Orso's, and then blow my brains out down by the mudflats. I had pre-scheduled text messages that were supposed to send at 9 p.m. to my boss that explained what I had done and that my stuff was packed up in my barracks room with letters to friends and family. One of them sent early for some reason, thank God, and he called me. I went to the hospital for a week, and was immediately ostracized, lost my position, lost my troops, and was not allowed to be near my friends. My command had no idea what to do with me, so I stayed in limbo for a few months. In those months, I had 6 attempts at going to behavioral health clinic to get medicated. I finally just asked for a chapter, which is when life really started after getting diagnosed. I went back to my parents for a few months, got on medication, and then moved to Arizona to be somewhere warm. It was rough. Really, really rough. I had troubles holding down jobs for 6 months, couldn't pay bills due to being broke, and ate ramen once a day for quite some time. I got a dog during that period, and that's when life really started to turn around. I made friends, group previously mentioned in last Am I the Butthole, go to regular groups once a week, 2 times if I need it, and began working in hotels. It was a natural fit. Finding a job that I could naturally fit in and do is paramount for recovery as it gives hope for the future. Your openness and willingness to share and educate is phenomenal. I was thinking that, even if the events of your previous post hadn't occurred and you didn't have your diagnosis, the turnaround that you have effected over the last couple of months is amazing. I was going to say is insane. Whoops. Given the premise of your Am I the Butthole post, I was wondering if that has affected what information you have shared with your GF and at what point did you or will you share? Obviously, I am not entitled to know. But you have been so generous with your life and circumstances, that I hope this is okay to ask. Sorry if I am treating this like Ask Me Anything. Although I think you would be an ideal candidate for that sub. Again, congratulations on everything. Agreed on the AMA. It would be a good experience. Yay! I love hearing great news, yellow heart, that is so awesome and I'm excited for you. Good luck with your new friends, new job and buying a house. Congratulations. Good for you. Best update ever. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.